Jesus was the culmination of the mystical tradition that began with Moses. To recap, Moses introduced the world to the identity of God as the I of individual being. Elijah showed the world that God was not in the storm or in any external display of power, but that God was in the still small voice within, the peace of the now moment. And Isaiah gave the world the way to experience the fullness of God through omniscience, reasoning from a spiritual premise, not a material one. With Jesus, we have the full revelation of the Christ, which is the realization that God is ever present within you and within all of humanity. As the great Hebrew mystic Maimonides said in the 12th century, the only image of God is man, living and thinking man, and that man acts as the image of God only through worshiping the invisible or hidden God alone. The Apostle John put it this way: "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was made flesh." Jesus represents the omnipresence of God made manifest as individual being. That spiritual essence, that individual self, which is present in all of humanity, is termed the Christ. It is the bringer of peace. It is the way shower. When people discover this nature of their being, they begin to live from the reality of mystical oneness, not from the human perspective of material cause and effect. They are fearless, not concerned with the powers of this world, not afraid of disease, not cowering to the material sense of power. Even when Jesus was tempted by Satan, the personification of impersonal evil, he never fought, he never resisted. All he said was, "Get thee hence. What do I have to do with thee?" This world is without consequence to the mystic. What takes place in the conceptual world of material cause and effect cannot change the reality of spiritual creation. It cannot alter the spiritual substance of all that exists. This world is the physical representation of the universal belief in a power other than God. It originates from the belief in good and evil, and that belief of good and evil comes from human judgment. Yet we must navigate this world, live in it, but we do not have to become part of it. The Master said to his disciples, once they had glimpsed the nature of the Christ, that he would not have them out of the world, away in monasteries doing nothing but living in isolation, but he would have them in the world so that the world could benefit from their presence in the midst of the multitudes, and the world could benefit from their spiritual consciousness. As all mystics do, Jesus taught love. You cannot love if you hold anyone in condemnation, so he also taught forgiveness. Take the beam out of your own eye before you go before the judge and jury. He taught non-judgment, which when practiced with the spiritual insight of Isaiah, would keep people off the wheel of condemning and forgiving and give their lives peace. He did this by revealing to his followers the ever-present nature of God. There is no separation from the I that I am and that which is living on this earth. He discarded all but two of the laws of Moses and reframed them. Love God with all your heart and mind and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. You cannot love a rewarding and punishing God, a God that frightens you and demands sacrifice from you. So Jesus was not talking about Jehovah. He was talking about the God revealed by Moses when he was on that Mount of Inspiration. He was talking about that I within, that spiritual self, the universal presence of peace that goes before you to dissolve the belief that there is power in matter. He was talking about the unconditional love that flows throughout creation, the love that expresses itself in the infinite nature of life. And the second law is dependent upon the first. Love your neighbor as yourself. Only when you see the oneness in all humanity can you love without judgment. But its greatest gift was revealing to humanity that the Christ is not personal. It does not belong to Jesus or refer to him as a man. It is the universal spiritual presence in all of us. The Christ idea is that God is omnipresent, within and without. When you see me, you see the Father that sent me. Abide in me, and let me abide in you. This is the Christ idea. It is the Christ within each of us that brings forth the fruitage of peace and joy and freedom. It is the Christ that loves without judgment, revealing our spiritual relationship with the Creator. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue in my love, that they all may be as one. This is the Christ talking to us, that they all may be as one. As thou, Father, are in me, and I in thee, that they may also be one in us. There is no separation between the source of life, the substance of life, which is I, and that expression of life. It is all one. As we come into this realization, we come to know that we can live in this world in freedom. We can live in this world in love, in abundance, and harmony and peace. And we can give that same love, that same harmony and peace, that stillness through the Christ of our being to all of humanity, to all those who come within range of our being. This is the activity of the Christ. It is the nature of Christ. And this is what Jesus revealed to the world.